Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I have the most beautiful woman with me. Beautiful inside and out, Jess Hutt. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, you're a bit of an inspiration to me. I've spent my whole life knowing what I want to do.
Mm,
Violinist, copied my big sister. But I can imagine that for someone as imaginative and creative as you didn't have that set in stone path as a kid, right? So I want to talk to you about how you live your most amazing life without getting stuck in that 9 to 5.
mm.
So let's talk about that for a second. How have you avoided the mundane?
Well, I've had some interesting jobs along the way. I have sort of basically been in a 9 to 5 job most of my life up until recently. Due to COVID, I was made redundant and have since started my own business. But previously, I've worked in some really creative and fun jobs. Like when I was living in London, I worked at the London Design Festival. I've worked for Red Bull. I haven't wanted to work in a 9 to 5 kind of structure, but I've always had really creative and fun jobs, which have made it more enjoyable. I guess the older that I've gotten, the more I've really wanted to have more flexibility and to be able to pursue my own passions around creativity. And that's why I've just taken this opportunity, being made redundant earlier this year, to really step away from that and make the change and just leap into the unknown. So,
Yeah, sometimes it takes life giving you this opportunity to really take the big leap, doesn't it? So, what
mm,
you're talking about is your new business, Hut and Hound. Just talk about that
mm,
briefly before I grill you about all the other amazing things you've done in your
yeah.
life.
So earlier this year, I got a puppy, and I am a huge dog lover, like to the point where it's a bit ridiculous. And my friends are like, "Can you not pet every single dog that you walk past?" So I got a puppy earlier this year, and she just changed my life. She's like a beautiful, yeah, bundle of joy, basically. And in terms of, obviously going to dog parks twice a day during COVID and meeting up with all of these new dog owners that have also got puppies due to lockdown, I saw an opportunity to start a dog services business because there's all of these people that have new dogs that will eventually have to go back to some sort of normal, and will need help with that. So for me, like hanging out with dogs in nature are two pretty cool things. And so I thought I'd start a dog services business and see where it goes. I mean, I don't plan to walk dogs, and dog sit for the rest of my life, but I really want to own a business that I'm passionate about so that I can then pursue my other creative endeavors around that. So that's how.
Yeah, cool. So, international people watching, we are in Melbourne. So,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
business so far is just in Melbourne, but I don't see why it wouldn't expand. I mean, franchising, girl, you know, why
Baby
not?
steps. Baby
Yeah.
steps. We'll see. We'll see.
Now, I have a a son who really loves dogs, but I personally I get a bit frightened around dogs. So I have to come on dog walks with you because I've got this irrational fear of dogs. I try and love them. I try and approach them, but as soon as they come to me, I get a little bit scared. And then I think, well, dogs can sense that. And then I get even more scared. So I think sometimes humans need training as well, even if they are dog lovers. Sometimes they don't have control over dogs. Would you say that's true? And
Yeah.
they need some pointers as well. Do you also offer that kind of thing where you can talk to the owners about any problems that they're having?
I mean, I definitely need to do more training now that I'm going down this field so that I feel a bit more confident giving that advice. But just from my own experience, I can definitely give the advice that I have. And I think did you grow up with dogs?
No.
No, and I think that makes a huge difference. I had dogs around me from a very young age, so I'm very comfortable with them. But I do, even with my dog Nalu, come across people that are petrified of her, and she's just the most beautiful, like just wants to kiss everybody, but they're just so scared. And I guess it's just the way that they were brought up. So, yeah, I happy to help people overcome those fears as they come up. But yes, definitely need to do more training in that area. So.
Do you think that the relationship people have with dogs is somehow reflective of the relationship they have with other humans in life? For example, when I first met you, I
Mm.
felt like I had known you forever. I saw you, you came up to me, you embraced me. I guess you were like one of those beautiful puppies that is just so loving and warm. And I just felt so comforted. And when I first met you, and I'm so grateful for that because I feel like I want to be the same as well. So bringing it back to the dog situation, um, is it a question of a power relationship with a dog as it is with a human? Say, for example, you approach me without wanting to dominate or attack,
Mm.
and then it creates a much better energy between the two humans. Can it be similar with dogs, do you think? Have you noticed that? See, I'm not a dog person. That's why I ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why I love dogs so much is because they are unconditionally loving, just and always want to be there for you in every situation. And I guess that's the way I am as well. I just want to be accepted. I just want to give love and receive love and live in this little happy world where we're all like loving and warm together. So dogs kind of fill that up for me when humans can sometimes be, disappointing, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
because dogs are like that, does it sometimes lead to people accidentally exploiting them? Like a dog would be quite easy to boss around, take advantage of, and abuse.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah, it's terrible. I'm sure there's lots of mistreatment with animals, and I think it's kind of crazy that we can just go and buy a dog without any real training or really any knowledge around the psychology of an animal, and bring them into our homes, and then go to work and leave them behind, and they get anxious, and they get all the things that we get as humans, and so I guess like a part of my business will definitely be educational, and I do want to expand to have a podcast to bring people in to talk about these things because so many people have no idea about how animals tick, and even I'm learning on a daily basis. So
Yeah. It's like it's a two-way relationship, not just a I think I'm going to buy a dog because that will make me happy. I suppose
mm,
it has to be a two-way thing, like another human, and it's a big responsibility as well. It's like
it is a big
having a
responsibility.
child as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I did notice that when I was in a particularly low moment during COVID. It was very interesting. Isolation does different things to different people. And I started fantasizing about a dog, knowing the healing energy that dogs can bring, the patting, it calms your nervous system down. My son's kind of edgy as well, and he would have really benefited. So I started getting obsessed. I'm like, I have to buy a dog. And so I went online and they were all sold out.
Mhm.
Everyone grabbed their rescue puppy or their rescue cat, and
Yeah.
and that's that. And then, as you said before, people are going to go back to work, and all these animals
Mhm.
are going to be isolated at home just because of a brief human need for company because they're at home and they felt isolated. And so
Yeah.
so that's where your business comes in. It's like you can't just leave these animals at home. So
No.
Jess is here to save the COVID babies. This is what Jess
Yes,
is
give them
doing.
all to me. I will take care of them all.
Yeah, oh
Yeah, I mean,
fantastic.
I just love that my clients' names are Whiskey and Disco, like, and I get to, yeah, it's very cool.
Oh,
But
that's
going back to
stunning.
what you were saying about meeting you for the first time, that was a very interesting time in my life. That was 2019, so it was August last year. And my friend Manon had worked with you on a couple of different events. She works for Mount Langi Winery, and had worked with you on a few different events and had spoken so highly about you. So I was just so excited to have you over to my house and to talk with you about our event, which I'm sure we'll cover.
Yes, my reputation preceded me. That's why you hugged me.
Yeah.
That's why you were friendly because Manon Hoog, who also worked for Mount Langi Winery,
Mm.
yeah, we've done some things together. And her and I have, I think, a similar feeling to our job situation. So I have a great job. I play in Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. But because there's zero input creatively from me, I can't fulfill that part of my soul through MSO. I mean, sometimes it's exactly what I want to be doing when we play the movies or whatever. It's not that I even expect a job to fulfill me completely.
Yeah.
So I use some of the money I get from my excellent job and put it into other projects. And Manon was sort of similar. She was always searching for that breaking away from the mundane, the corporate, and trying to do her own project. So thanks to her, you and her and I converged and got
Mm.
to do these two amazing shows with an electronic music producer called Sean Keat, which was this incredible 47-minute piece of genius. And we played it at what was the first thing we did at your home, which was so divine. And you organised this incredible dinner with the chef. Who was the chef again?
Yeah, so Romu is a French chef, and he put together an 8-course canapé degustation canapé menu. And then we had Ben Haynes, who was a winemaker, a local winemaker, who paired it with these delicious wines. So we had a really intimate setting. Everything was candle lit. We had a stylist who's also a friend of ours come in and reimagine the space. So it was kind of a bohemian kind of setting. And then, yeah, of course, the performance diffusion for the guests. And it was incredible.
Yeah, and this is what the arts is all about. It's not just rehashing some old 80s songs and making a TV commercial. It's how can we bring all of the people we know who do amazing things, how can we work it all into the one event?
Yeah.
And yeah, you charged money, but why wouldn't you charge money? This is something that people would pay for. People pay to go and see music theatre, Mary Poppins and all this nostalgic stuff. But this cutting edge stuff that we happen to do, thanks to this beautiful convergence of all of us, included layers and layers and layers of beauty and creativity, and it was just sensational. So the piece is called Diffusion. You can find it on SoundCloud. Sean Keat, ShaunKeyt, and his DJ name is Viridian. So if anyone wants to check that out, just go to SoundCloud. It's right there. So you, Manon, and I created this incredible night, and then we replicated it at Mount Langi in the open air, and
wow.
it was just so. How did you guys come to wing that? Because that was a great gig for me.
Yeah. So off the back of the success, I mean, just going back to the night that we had at my house, that was the people that attended. It was a very intimate crowd of invite only. I think we had 35 people there, or maybe 40 actually in the end. And everybody left that night just in absolute awe. They were like, the music touched them. People were crying after the performance. And then, of course, the food and the wine and the company, they just left like, what just happened? Yeah. So, and we were on that same high as well. And Manon and I, we wanted to continue. We wanted to keep going, and we wanted to continue working with you and your beautiful musical piece. So I think Manon had spoken to her team at Langi, and they were looking for a performance for their members. So yeah, she sort of organized it and pulled the crew together. So we had the same core crew. It was me organizing sort of the production of it. Then we had Jackie, who was doing the styling. We obviously had the wine at the winery, and they organized the food. And then we had you guys as well perform, and the setting was incredible, wasn't it? It was like perched up on top of this Mount Langi. So it's out near the Grampians, isn't it? It's out that way. And it's up on this huge hill, and you've got the winery and the hills rolling down below. Yep. And you guys, we need to post a photo of it or something.
We definitely will. Yeah. The best thing about this particular piece of music for me, and this is extremely selfish and banal thing for me to say, but the boys setting up, so the sound guy and Sean, the person who wrote this piece, the electronic producer, their setup is at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. But because I'm coming in at the last minute on electric violin, I just come in at the last minute and plug into the desk. That's all I have to do. And in the past, my shows have been like 5 violins, 7 amps, lighting guys, and it's usually me setting up 4 hours and then having to work every single piece of everything. And so it's almost like my karmic reward, 10 years of this kind of meticulous planning, organizing, doing it all out of my own pocket. And then all of a sudden the culmination of all of that karmic reward comes with this incredible Mount Langi gig where I just have to plug in and get paid. I mean, it was just stunning. There was, besides all the stunning nature of everything, it was like, this is actually finally an easy gig for me.
And also it's a perfect gig for you as well. I mean, Sean and yourself also expressed that you really wanted to create intimacy with that particular piece of music. So you didn't want to perform that for, a music festival type audience or a large theatre. It was meant to be for groups of between 20 and 50 people in these stunning, intimate locations.
Yeah, that's right. That Sean had grown up. He's my age, late
Mm.
40s. He was on the forefront of the electronic music scene when it was developing. So he's played to thousands, like crowds of tens of thousands of people. He's done all that. He's been in that scene.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great to go and play at a music festival for 10,000 people? And Sean's like, no, 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 we've got to make it something more special, more intimate. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So, but he's right, because that's what the world needs now. They need connection. They need reconnection. They don't need anonymous dislocation anymore. People need
No.
that really close relationship with the arts, which, as we've said, is just this beautiful, touchy feely. Literally, you're so close to that sound, and you're so close to those humans that it really, really gets you. And it's a healing experience, I think, when music is more intimate like that.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, look, let's talk a little bit about what's some of the more intense, crazy jobs that you've had. Like, you were in London, weren't you? That must have been a riot.
Mm. Yeah, so I moved over there. Yeah, I moved over to London when I was 26 or 27, I think. And it was a really interesting time in London because there actually were riots when I was in London. There was also the Olympics while I was there. There was the Queen Jubilee. It was a really crazy time. And here I was, a girl from Brisbane, rocking up with, a uni degree and a little bit of experience, but no like worldly experience. And I managed to get an internship with the London Design Festival, and that was insane. Like sitting in this gorgeous office in Soho with these incredible people talking about these incredible projects. So we're talking leading designers and architects creating installations in St. Paul's Cathedral or Trafalgar Square. And I'm taking notes. I don't know half of the names of these designers and architects, and going home that night and researching them. So for 2 years that I was there, I was working for an incredible company and running these incredible events and learning all about design and architecture and how humans interact with design, which previously I'd not known anything about before. So yeah, that was a wild ride. And I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave London at all, but there were no options to stay, like visa options. So I had all of these contacts, all of these incredible artists that I'd met and worked with and created relationships with, and decided when I moved back to Australia to start my own company again. That was my first attempt at starting my own business, and bring those artists back to Australia and represent them in Australia. So that's what I did for a good year and a half after London.
Gosh, that is so super brave.
Yeah, it was really scary. I had hardly any money. I had hardly any experience at starting a business, but I had these incredible artists that wanted to work with me. So I was like, I need to do something. So one of the artists was Mr. Brainwash, and he was part of a very controversial film called Exit Through the Gift Shop that Banksy created. Banksy is a big street artist in the UK. And anyway, he was blowing up overseas in LA and Europe. And so I brought him to Australia, and I contacted MTV. I contacted a couple of big brands, and MTV reached out and said, we want to work with you, bring Mr. Brainwash into our offices in Sydney. We're going to let you paint and take over the entire office. And then we're going to throw you a big party at the end of it. And even though that wasn't a money-making thing for me, it was a PR opportunity to then work further with him in the future. So yeah, I had some really interesting and fun experiences as part of that business idea, but I was doing it all on my own. So every blow hit me really hard because I'd have to pick myself back up off the ground, and there's a lot of self-doubt as well. Like, what am I doing? Can I actually do this? But yeah.
Yeah, and people often get criticized for doing something that doesn't make money. So there's this bottom line mentality that
Mm,
everyone has when they're criticizing you and judging you and observing what you're doing. And it is really hard to pick yourself up when people are telling you, or at least you just get this sense that people might look at you as a failure because something's not making money. But
mm,
that's what I've always felt. If it doesn't make money, find your money from somewhere else. Get a part-time job. These creative ideas, they're so important to get out there because that's how we create our culture. Because
yeah.
I believe strongly that in the West, we've sort of lost our culture a little bit. We've lost religion. We've lost really who we are as a nation. I mean, who are we as Australians? So
Yeah.
we just need to acknowledge that we didn't do a very good job so far. And now from this moment forward, what can we create that's beautiful, collaborative, and exciting. And it doesn't matter if it makes money or not. I mean, sure, it'd be great if it does make money. Yeah,
Yeah.
great, whatever. But
Yeah. It'd
that's
be nice if that wasn't the driving force behind everything.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I think there's something really powerful in birthing an idea as well. I'm the type of person that has a lot of ideas, but I also have a lot of fear, and a lot of the inner critic is quite a loud voice. It's getting better. So for me, if I don't put an idea into action, then I get less ideas. So that, yeah, it's really important to kind of just birth something, see if it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you tried and you've built that confidence in knowing that you can put ideas into action.
Yeah, ideas are really interesting. Some people have the ideas coming very easily, and they'll initiate something, but often there is not the follow through to the end with any of the ideas. But I see with you that that's not exactly the case. I mean, I'm sure you've had ideas that haven't run their course, but I've got a few projects going on which I'm getting to the final stages of them, and like you say, the self-doubt comes in, the fear, people aren't going to buy it, they're not going to like it, they're going to criticize me, the big classical authorities are not going to recognize what I've done, whatever, all of that crap, right? Sort of trying to please an absent father, and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff is really hard to get over. And I don't want to get political, but I do feel like it's a girl thing overall, because we're not encouraged to take risks as little people. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
don't do that. You've got to be safe. Oh, she's going to trip over. Oh, are you okay? Whereas boys are like encouraged to really go nuts and yeah, climb that tree and go and kill
Yeah.
that ant or whatever.
Yes.
So when we grow up into grown up humans, it's hard to shed that insidious background radiation of well, girls shouldn't risk or girls should be, and it's much better obviously now than it was 75 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's just still a background radiation there, which it's hard for us to just sort of stand up straight and go, this is what we're doing. You don't
Yeah.
like it, you don't have to be a part of it. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. It's not for everybody. Like my dog walking business is completely off track with where I've been for most of my life. Obviously working in the arts and creating music concerts and managing artists, that kind of thing. So, there were people that were like, what are you doing? You're starting a dog walking business? But for me, it's creative. Like it's still a business, it's still creative. And like you say, it's a way of making money, but I'm still passionate about it so that I can then create. I still want to work with you, Sarah. I still want to create more concerts. We still have work to do on that side of things as well. So, yeah.
Anytime. I'll play a concert for your doggies on
Yeah.
video
Oh, wow.
listening.
That's a great idea.
That could be
That's
amazing.
such a good idea. So Manon is in France. She went over to do vintage in New Zealand earlier this year, and then because of COVID got stuck there, and then decided instead of coming back to Melbourne because we were going into a second wave, that she would fly back to France to spend time with her family and do a second vintage over there. So she's managed to kind of avoid lockdowns, which is amazing. But now she is in France and they are going into a lockdown. So when she comes back to Australia, we will sit down and talk about our next, what we're going to do with diffusion and keep going.
Yes, stay tuned for that, everybody. Diffusion, Sean Keat, managed by Jess Hutt and Manon Hoog. Fantastic. Well, look, I just thank you so much. Is there anything, there was something exciting you mentioned. Are we allowed to mention the little breakthrough with your business?
Oh,
yes, go for it.
It's literally just come through this morning, so I feel confident to say. I've received a call from the Marriott Hotel last week. They are now becoming a dog-friendly hotel, which is awesome, I think. Due to COVID, they've had to diversify and offer more services because they're not getting as many international visitors. And they found my business. I was referred to them. I don't know how. And they have offered me exclusive dog services for all of their hotel guests coming in with puppies and dogs. So that's really exciting for Hut and Hound, a business that's literally been around for 3.5 weeks now. To be partnering with the Marriott Hotel as their exclusive dog services partner. It's very exciting.
God, congratulations.
Yeah.
Hut and Hound, everyone. That's going to be in the comments or on the page. This is Sarah Curro interviews page. And look, Jess, you're a marvel. The power of ideas and getting the hell away from the 9 to 5 and the mundane. Thank you for sharing your magic with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, Sarah. I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.